WWE returned to MSG in New York City on its latest stop on the road to WrestleMania. World champ CM Punk and Roman Reigns were put under the same roof once again. What reports did Punk have to attack last week? And much more. Was the questions on this big episode of Raw, but it starts things off with Cody Rhodes. But before he could address the fans in his upcoming titles defence against Randy Orton, impending Hall of Fame inductee Stephanie McMahon interrupted. She discussed the multi-generational talent like Rhodes and Orton and applauded the American Nightmare for taking a golden path and attempting to do things the right way, except he's not like his father. He's not capable of beating this version of Orton, the vile, ruthless competitor. Rhodes' answer reminding everyone he used to have to check to make sure Orton was still breathing when he rolled over himself, after reminding McMahon that she was not like her father either, and eating a slap to the face. Rose listened and said, as she warned him to start thinking his former mentor or he'll leave with the title. A fantastic start to the show. I really liked the McMahon interaction. Rose seems to have that fire awakened, and yeah, I think it's definitely going to add a bit of spice to the storyline. As we then moved on to the street fight for the Tag Team Championships, Paul and Theory against the Usos. The champs dominated early, utilising trash cans, kendo sticks and a giant suplex to Theory through a table to sustain the advantage. A convoluted spot introduced Speed into the proceedings as he accidentally laid out LA Knight with brass knucks, continuing the idea that he was cursed by Danhausen. Back in the ring, Paul utilised the same knuckles to flatten Jimmy Uso. As Jay took out Paul at ringside, Theory casually dropped his arm over the fallen champ and scored the win and the title of the division. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I don't know, the involvement was interesting, probably leading to a multi-man match at WrestleMania. It delivered some crowd-pleasing spots, but for the most part it's pretty predictable and kind of background title change compared to everything else going on. So yeah, 5 out of 10. As we then moved on to a physical brawl with Stephanie Vicker last week, Liv Morgan made her way out to address her WrestleMania 42 opponent. "You're done for," Morgan said, tone turning angry and personal as she admonished the Women's World Champ for attacking Dom last week. Morgan said her mother taught never to let anyone get the best of her, then made disparaging remarks about the champ's mum. Vicker hit the ring and levelled with Rumble winner with a kick. When she teased using a chair on the heel, Roxanne Perez made her return, attacking the champ from behind. Morgan delivered the chair assist to the Oblivion and stood tall with her Judgment Day teammates. I mean, in terms of the intensity here, these two done it really well, and I think the re-emergence of Perez as well is going to make it interesting, and it's a big question for Kerr is how she can fend off and keep the title. But yeah, I like the feud so far. We then got Lyra and Bayley versus Lash and Nia for the women's tag title. The champs downed Valkyria and worked her over, cutting her off from her partner. They utilised their size and strength advantage to keep control of the battle until the inaugural women's IC champ created separation and made the tag to the role model. Bayley exploded into the match and laid into the champ. As the action broke down, all four competitors laid out in the centre of the ring. The Bella Twins and Flair and Bliss made their way to ringside. The heels laid everyone out before Flair and Bliss attacked the champs, leading to a DQ to the dismay of the fans and attendants. The babyfaces stood tall. I mean, yeah, I think Bayley's on a hot streak at the moment. Her work here was really good, but I think it's kind of inevitable what was going to happen here, so it gets a 5 out of 10 from me. We're obviously building to that multi-team match at Mania. Before, after 2 consecutive weeks of being humbled by Obafemi, Brock Lesnar hit the ring dressed in his comeback gear, ready to fight. Paul Heyman delivered one of his long-winded promos, only for the enraged Conqueror to grab the mic and demand Femi get out there. Raw GM Pierce arrived with security, attempting to preserve their match, but the ruler strutted to the ring, showing zero fear in the face of Lesnar. He obliterated the security and sent Pierce into the guardrail, showing little regard for the GM, and made the beast wait, strutting around before finally joining him. Triple H, king of overwhelmingly negative crowd reactions, they interrupted the stare down and forced the combatants apart. I thought this was really good. They made Femi look like an absolute beast, and yeah, I really can't wait for that match at Mania. Before we moved on to the IC champ, Penta v Kofi Kingston, and with Grayson Waller watching and talking trash from ringside, Kingston flew right into the code breaker from Penta for a 2. Later tensions continued to fare as Kingston ordered Waller to back off when Penta hit the floor, not looking to get DQ in a rare single title opportunity. At one point, Kingston caught a flying Penta with Trouble in Paradise, but couldn't keep the champ down, forcing Penta to the top rope, but the champ fending him off and delivered as a Mexican Destroyer for the win and successful title defence. After the match, Penta announced a multi-person ladder match for the title at Mania, which makes sense, although little build. But yeah, overall, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Moving on into The Advocate, who once again stood in the ring and addressed the NYC crowd. He touted the Division's tag title when owning the show before Adam Pearce interrupted and revealed that he dropped all stars against Seth Rollins. He also added the Architect is actually cleared to compete, a fact that appeared to take Heyman by surprise. Not as much there was a steel chair that cracked him in the back. Rollins teased a stomp on a steel chair, but Gunther came out of nowhere, pulled him out of the ring and put him to sleep before pointing at the WrestleMania sign. I mean, it's not a logical development, but I mean, who cares? Two of the best wrestlers in the world. It's going to be an incredible match. Obviously, it's a shame Bron Breakker can be cleared, but I think with these two both having difficult plans, I think it makes well to put them together. Moving on then to weeks of intensifying dislike, Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez squaring off. Rodriguez dominated early, utilising her size and strength to counter Sky's speed and technique. However, into the commercial break though, the genius of Sky delivered a picture-perfect Asylum insult to lay her opponent out. Back from the timeout, the competitors exchanged strikes with the babyface getting the best of her opponent. Rodriguez though got her feet up during and over the moonsault attempts, driving the wind out of the Sky. Oscar and Kyrie tried to interfere on behalf of Rodriguez, but they were taken down by Big Money Cool. They just allowed Sky to fight back into the match, delivering a huge tornado DDT and the bullet train attack. Seeing Oscar beat Sane, Sky wiped the Empress of Tomorrow out. The distraction allowed Rodriguez to deliver the Tahina Bomb for the win. I mean, it's disappointing Rodriguez is going to miss out on WrestleMania. She's been good as late, and this was a fun match. Hurt by the interference, heavy saw and finish, but it also advances Sky's story. So yeah, she'll be facing off against Oscar. I'd like to see Sane in there as well, but we'll have to see where it all goes. There was no time nor need for words Monday night between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Instead, Punk marched the ring, taping his hand ready to fight, and the fight he did, Roman and Punk brawled around the ringside area. When producers attempted to get involved and pull them apart, they took bumps, including a spear from Reigns to P.T. Williams. Punk finally got the best of Reigns, delivering a GTS, leaving the OTC. From there, he hoisted Reigns overhead and delivered the same powerbomb through the announce table he endured last week. He mocked the Roman Reigns chance and added a few more punches for good measure to stand tall. It needed this ramping up the physicality. Lakabuso was interesting, but I think Punk, getting it back, it makes sense, and a very strong way to end the show. And overall this week, that's 7 out of 10 for me. I felt like a big show this one. A lot of things that went down. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but I thought the MSG show was good. Gave WWE a lot to build from. I'd still say the highlight of the show for me is the Lesnar Obafemi. What they're doing at the moment. The brawls, how they're making Obafemi, I think is excellent. But yeah, on the whole, a very good show this one. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.